Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 12th special meeting of Newark Board of Education. Meeting is called to order at 6:02 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. Next, Ms. Gutierrez, roll call, please.
Member Marquez?
Present.
Member Grindal?
Here.
Vice President Nguyen?
Here.
President Nguyen? President Zhang?
Here.
Member Hale is absent.
Okay. Next, approval of agenda. I move that we approve the agenda as it is. May I get a second?
A second.
Seconded by Member Nguyen. Student Board Member, how do you vote?
Yes.
Member Marquez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Member Grindal, how do you vote?
Yes. Yes.
Member Nguyen, how do you vote?
Yes.
My vote is yes as well. Motion carries unanimously. Member Hill is absent. Moving on to consent agenda, non-personnel items. District-wide special education transportation for hop, skip, drive. And given we have no public comment and there are some questions that superintendent you want to address with regard to the COVID protocol of this transportation provider.
Yes, thank you, President John. Good evening, board members and staff and community watching on YouTube. We're bringing back this item, and there has, prior to the last board meeting, there had been really thorough vetting of this company that does work transporting, in particular, young people. And so I will turn it over in a minute to Ms. Pierce to explain a little bit about, number one, the process that we went through to vet this company and select this company and why, and then also with regard to the COVID protocols that they are adhering to. I will say when my daughters were young and needed to go to soccer practice, I used hop, skip, and drive with them, and it was really excellent. It was a lifesaver, honestly, because it was a safe way for our children to be able to go from school to practice in the middle of the day. And I don't know that it's still the case, but at that time I know that the founder had been a mom who was really struggling with this issue of how to have our kids go, safely from one place to another. And then, at least initially, she hired all women to be the drivers, which I think was unusual and unique at the time. But I will turn it over to Ms. Pierce Davis to explain a little bit more about the process that we used in selecting this company.
Thank you, Dr. Triplett. So we started with Zoom, the company that we regularly use. As everyone is very well aware of, there's a shortage of drivers nationwide. Zoom was unable to fulfill the need that we had as a district, so we are continuing with Zoom. And then our SPED department did some research around trying to find a company that could supplement to ensure that we were making sure that all students who should have transportation as part of their IEPs and special education are receiving that transportation. So they did some outreach, and again, they did a very thorough job. I want to give credit to our special education office for doing this work. We have some really hardworking ladies in that office I've come to know in the last few weeks very well. They reached out to two companies. Go Green, Hop, Skip, Drive were two main ones, which the district had either heard about or had prior relationships with. Go Green did not respond to multiple outreach. And so Hop, Skip, Drive did. We vetted them. Their COVID policies are very prominently displayed on their website, so I encourage anyone who's interested to look. And they are also, which you will not find on their website, but they are also complying with the governor's mandate around making sure that all employees are either show proof of vaccination or submit to weekly testing, just like all of our NUSD teachers and staff are also subject to. So I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. I know that there was some questions around disinfecting and cleaning. That is also on the website. So again, I encourage anyone who's interested. It's pretty prominent.
So Ms. Ms. Pierce, you're saying that we're still using Zoo for our transportation, is that right? But that's for general transportation, or that is?
All of the transportation companies that we're talking about are through our special education department. So these are students who receive, sorry, go ahead. These are students who receive transportation services as part of their
Yeah,
IEPs.
because for us, there's only one of the two choices, either Go Green or Hop Skip Drive, and Go Green didn't respond.
They did not respond.
And you were saying Hop Skip Drive, their drivers either need to get vaccinated or submit to weekly testing.
Starting October 15th, and that's when the governor.
That is, I guess, this Friday, right?
If I could clarify also, Member Zhen, or President Shen, your question. So we are continuing to use Zoom. That's a company that we have been using for special education transportation, but they do not have sufficient drivers
I see.
and sufficient service at this point to meet all of our needs. So this would be a supplement to Zoom.
Okay, and then specific about the cleaning of the car, that any specific information about how they clean the car? Or I guess one thing about, what do you call it, Go Green is the same driver pick up the student, and then the same driver also send the student home, is that right? They send, I mean, the student will have the same driver that send them to the school and pick them up to send them back home.
Yeah, so I know that was something that was suggested by a community member. We don't have information to confirm that that has always been or continued to be the policy for Go Green. But like we said, Go Green has been unresponsive to our, when we inquired about continuing with their service. I don't believe, and Ms. Pierce, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that Hop Skip Drive nor Zoom have the capacity to guarantee that the same person that drives the student to school would also pick them up. Is that correct, Ms. Pierce?
What about the cleaning of the vehicle? I guess that's also a question raised.
Yeah, so they have a full cleaning protocol, and I believe it's all on the website, but there's, I think all the drivers have been trained in disinfecting protocols, and that's something that they do after every ride.
Okay. Any other questions from the rest of the board?
Yes, President Chang, I wanted to just have a quick question. Their website includes all this information, but is there anything in our contract with them that points to those COVID protection measures?
Ms. Dela Cruz, do you have any additional information about that?
As far as I can see, because it is part of the attachment, the COVID protocols are not part of the contract, but we can certainly attach it as an additional exhibit.
That would give me a lot of comfort, and when you're ready for motion, I'd be happy to make it.
Anybody ready for a motion?
I just have one clarifying question. So notice that the contract is only until the end of the school year. So if they do perform well, will you be reevaluating whether or not to continue with Zoom or bring on Hop Skip Drive as a full contract?
Yeah, that's something that, there is a renewal term in there, and so we would definitely be at the end of the year evaluating what's the most appropriate. I mean, as we can all imagine, it makes more sense to have one provider, so we'd have to revisit that with both those companies and see if that's possible for one of those companies to offer sole source, so to speak. But that's something that we would analyze.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody ready to make a motion?
Yes, President Zhang, I'd like to make a motion to approve this contract as per the staff recommendation with the COVID protocols attached.
I second.
Motion made by Member Grindel, seconded by Member Nguyen. Student Board Member, how do you vote?
Yes.
Member Marcus? Yes. Member Grindel?
Yes.
Member Nguyen?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries unanimously. Member Hill is absent. Moving on to Board of Education recognition and announcements, student board member.
I would like to give a recognition to Ms. Pierce and Superintendent Triplett for attending a meeting I hosted at the school today during lunch. And it was really informative, and it felt great with students speaking to the district members. And I really hope we continue this conversation with students and district members. So thank you.
Thank you. Member Marcus?
I just wanted to go ahead and reiterate and recognize the students that were with us for the National Hispanic Recognition, and that's Vicky, Berenice, Monica, and Lorena, because I know it's really hard, especially when you're that young and then you're wanting to come forward and demonstrate a skill level that often is not recognized within your school instead of being outsourced in the community. So again, I just wanted to recognize those 4 young ladies and their parents for the time and dedication of presenting at our last board meeting.
Thank you. Member Grindel?
Yes, I have a kind of a long one. So I just wanted to put something on the record. I've been very concerned about things that Member Hill has been saying at Board of Education meetings. I object to the negativity, accusations, and tone. At our meeting of September 15th, Member Hill's comments were very troubling, and I feel the need to go on the record objecting to his statements. His statements included baseless accusations of collusion between the superintendent and President Zhang to withhold information from him and other board members. He called for the suspension of the superintendent in a situation where there were no negative consequences for the minor administrative errors. These actions were below the standards of conduct as described in Board Bylaw 9005. Worse still, in attacking staff member Lucia Gutierrez and calling for her resignation, it's a direct violation of Board Policy 9000, which spells out the role of the board. Criticism and demands for resignation of a district employee is simply not appropriate. In addition to being contrary to policy and professional conduct, such behavior puts the district and the individual members at risk of liability for creating a hostile work environment. Therefore, I want to make it clear, I categorically reject this offensive behavior of Member Hill. I believe that a statement of objections to his actions is needed to keep his actions from tarnishing me as well as other board members. Silence can be seen as consent or agreement. Therefore, I categorically condemn these actions. I hope the superintendent will continue to strive to educate board members on what their appropriate role is. Thank you.
Member Nguyen?
Thank you, President Zhang. So before, I'm kind of lost for words right now, but I definitely sympathize and am in agreement with you, Member Grindel, on all of the points that you brought up tonight. So I do also want to go on record in stating that I support the statements that you have stated tonight. And then I want to also say, before Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month comes to an end, I would like to acknowledge our teachers, administrators, counselors, students, and staff for their hard work and dedication to the Puente program at both the junior high and high school. Puente's mission is to improve the college admission rates of underrepresented students. The program is currently open to all students who are interested in being a part of the program. Students accepted into the program are assigned a Puente counselor who oversees and mentors the students' progress towards college readiness, starting at the junior high and all the way through their senior year in high school. Puente integrates Latino and multicultural literature into their curriculum and encourages students to take an active leadership opportunities. Thank you for making Puente a successful program in our district. And then I would also like to acknowledge all the wonderful work that Promotores has and is continuing to do in our community. Promotores serves as a link between social services and the community to facilitate access to services and improve the quality and cultural competence of service delivery for the overall wellness of the community. They have been tremendous in their efforts to educate our community about COVID and promoting vaccinations throughout the pandemic. Along with bringing health awareness to the community, they have also brought art and music and dance programs to the district sites. They have actively partnered with the City of Newark and NUSD on different initiatives. Their biggest achievement is empowering women to be strong, educated, self-sufficient individuals who are thriving and are giving back to the community. Thank you, promoters, for all that you do in our community. Your work is greatly appreciated. And that's it.
Yeah, so I also want to echo Member Marcus' remark. I want to thank the 4 students from Shooting for showing up to our board and showcase their talent in front of us. That's really great dance. And for the Latinx Heritage Month, it was until I saw the resolution, I realized actually 2/3 of our NUSD staff member are Hispanic. So I want to celebrate again the Hispanic Heritage Month and be proud of your heritage and your accomplishment in this country. Moving on to Board of Education Committee reports. Mission Valley ROP, we had a special meeting 2 weeks ago to make all the meetings for the rest of the year virtual because of the pandemic. And we'll have another regular Mission Valley ROP meeting on Thursday in about 2 days. SELPA, there's nothing from SELPA. Anything from the Liaison Committee?
The Liaison Committee is meeting this Monday, October 18th at 6 o'clock.
Any possible agenda item about that meeting?
Yes. Let me just grab. Yes, we'll be introducing the newly appointed NUSD board member, Ms. Alicia Marquez. We also have the Coyote Hills Elementary merger update, COVID-19 vaccination rate for ages 12 to 17 and city NUSD partnership, National Walk and Bike to School Day partnership, crossing guard update, Sanctuary Village Area 3 NUSD feasibility study, and City of Newark and NUSD marketing strategy, and then the library grand opening and business hours update. Did I miss one?
Anything for, I guess, there's nothing for EBICS, and anything from the audit committee? Nothing from audit committee? Anything from parcel tax committee? I mean, apparently nothing. Okay. Moving on to Board of Education request, student board member?
No requests at the moment.
Member Marcus?
No requests at this time.
Member Grindel?
Yes, President Zhang, I have two requests. I'd like to ask that 2 items in our governance handbook be agendized for discussion. One, I believe that we should consider amending the procedure for appointing a member in the event of a vacancy so that a more straightforward, transparent, and democratic process can be used. In particular, the role of a committee of the board should be removed, and the entire board should be equally involved in the appointment process. 2, I believe that the process for electing officers should be amended to remove the discussion of a rotation and instead provide for an open, transparent, and democratic ability for the board to elect our officers. A limit on the number of terms may be appropriate, but the board should otherwise be free of the implications of a rotational system. So again, I'm asking that this be agendized for future discussion.
So I guess this doesn't really require any staff time, so the board can just decide among ourselves whether we want this, right? I mean, this is obviously board-related stuff, not really related to any staff resources or time. So I guess we can decide whether, the board can decide whether we want to discuss this or not, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Obviously, we would support with preparing anything that was required of the board,
Okay.
but it does not, I believe, require any sort of advanced research. Is that,
Yeah,
would you
so-
concur, Ms. Gutierrez?
So Mayor, can you, I mean, further elaborate what you're looking for? So I guess the appointment process, you want to see.
President Zhang?
Yeah,
Sorry, I do apologize, just for the sake of not getting into a discussion, if I may.
okay.
The clarity that would be needed here at this point would be if this is a board requested agenda item, which means that Member Grindal would bring this forward to discuss why he wants it on a future agenda with further discussion, or if this will go on an agenda as a discussion item.
Okay, so whether we'll directly proceed to a full board discussion on this.
Thank you.
I mean, given this is a board business and probably not going to consume a lot of staff time, so I can give a second. We just need a third to make this. So I see member Win. So I think in a future board meeting, we can talk about this. I think the timing for the appointment process is far better than discussing this right before we appoint somebody.
Yes.
Thank you, President Zhang and Vice President Nguyen.
Member Win?
I do not have any requests at this time.
Yeah, I mean, simple request, I guess. Finally, we have a full board, and that I'm calling for a special meeting at the end of this month for the district goal setting. So we're supposed to be doing this in July and August, but since we don't have a full board, but right now we do have a full board every year. I mean, actually not every year. Starting last year, we finally had this special meeting to set up the district goal for the superintendent, and after that, we have, given that we got a new board member just come in, so roughly in February or March, we'll have a mid-year review, and by the end of the contract year, we'll have a full-year review for the superintendent's performance, primarily evaluating against the goal we will be setting for the whole district, for the whole school year in our special meeting when we set a goal. So I guess I'm looking for the last week of October. I guess we'll see if Ms. Gutierrez can help us set up the meeting and make sure every board member will need to attend this meeting. And this meeting will probably take 3 to 4 hours. It will be a special meeting, goal-setting meeting for the district. That's my request.
So a point of clarity, President Zhang, goal setting for the district or goal setting for the superintendents?
Goal-setting for the superintendent. Moving on to superintendent concluding comments.
Thank you, President Chun. Thank you all for the requests and comments. I think we do have a tentative date, and we can reach back out to board members individually for that superintendent goal-setting meeting of October 27th starting at 6. So Ms. Gutierrez will reach back out and just confirm availability. And if that time doesn't work, then we are happy to figure out a different time. I wanted to just conclude, number one, appreciating the board and staff for coming tonight on this short notice, but to wrap up this and conclude this board agenda item, which was really important. And then also wanted to appreciate Member Grindal, who joined me this morning for a visit to some classrooms at Newark Memorial. That was really tremendous, and so thank you for being there, Member Grindal. And just extend an open invitation to any of the board members that wish to come and visit schools with me. I do it every week, multiple days, and so yeah, I know many board members have already taken me up on that. So yeah, it'd be great. And then also wanted to appreciate student board member Resendiz Ortiz. She hosted a student wellness group this today during the lunchtime at Newark Memorial, and we had a chance to engage with students. Some of the district leadership did, and it was really, really insightful. And I look forward to more such engagements as we work with students to really think through how we best support student wellness and mental health. So, thank you.
I move we adjourn the meeting. May I get a second? Seconded by member. Anybody want to have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by member Grindal. Student board member, how do you vote?
Yes.
Member Marcus?
Yes.
Member Grindal?
Yes.
Member Win?
Yes.
My vote is yes as well. Motion carries unanimously. Member Hill is absent. Meeting is adjourned at 6:26 p.m. Have a rest of the evening.
And go Giants.